Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel. And I've shown this tank in a couple of videos, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to go through exactly what it is. Well, this is currently my fry grow out tank. So as you can see, it's fairly well loaded with baby black platies, not so baby, some of them. And there's about 15 or so of them in there, which is, yes, overstocked, don't worry. I do the maintenance, change the water, clean it out, blah blah blah. Water parameters are all good, all the fish are happy, nothing's dying. Anyway, yeah, so got the platies, and then there's also about a dozen guppy fry that you can probably see skittering about the place as well. They're from one of the female guppies in the big fluvial Roma. When I noticed she was rather heavily pregnant, I took her out and popped her in here, just to drop. As soon as she dropped, she went back into the main tank. Again, basically because Dorian the angelfish, named after the character from Birds of a Feather, which probably only the Brits will get, because Dorian in the show was a man-eater, and well, Dorian the angelfish is a guppy eater. So yeah, they don't survive more than a couple of minutes in there. So I wanted some more guppies, and the easiest way was to just pop them in here and let them grow. Now once they're big enough, they will be going into the Roma with the parents and everything else, and the platies will be going to a local fish store. Unfortunately they won't buy them off me because they're live bearers. I'm guessing because they're super easy to breed, and they probably accidentally breed as many as they need anyway. But it's better to know they're going to a good home. That said, if there's anyone fairly local to me and wants some small black and orange platies, let me know, and we can sort something out. But the new additions I made to this, you can see in the, I suppose I really ought to talk about what the tank is. It's just a 20 litre kit jobby using the supplied filter. Was it Hydom? One of the cheapy heaters off of Amazon, 25 watt, plenty big enough for the size of the tank. And one of the right now to pronounce this, Meinlicht lights. German name, but I've got a funny feeling they're probably made in Japan or China. Somewhere in the Far East anyway. Again, not an expensive light, but for a tank this small, perfectly adequate to grow whatever I want. It's the same light I've got on the losing my ability to speak here. It's exactly the same light I have on Mary's tank, which is the one with the endlers and the Bloody Mary shrimp. And it seems to grow plants plenty well enough in there. So in here we've got a couple of plastic plants, a big block of blue sponge, a bit of floating plant, and some stem plant trimmings I've just chucked in there, and a bunch of moss and all kinds of just stuff. Now that's all in there for different reasons. I mean, the plants are in there, the real ones anyway, to do their job, grow, suck up the nitrates, and keep the water cleaner, help the filter out a bit. The plastic plants just to give the fish some cover, something in there, and the block of sponge, foam, whatever you want to call it, is the one that came from the back of the fluvial flex, and I used to cycle in the Roma, and then I popped it in here to cycle this, and it appears to be doing quite well at growing stuff that platies and guppies like to eat. So I've left it in there. This isn't necessarily what I call a display tank. It will be at some point once I've moved on all the platies and the guppies have gone. This will become probably a shrimp tank. I keep saying I'm going to do a shrimp tank and then seeing some fishies that I want to put in there instead. So to that end today I went out against my local Maidenhead Aquatics, and I got, I think it was, well, I paid for 6, I think I got 8 cherry shrimp. Getting known in there now, and they were fairly small, so the guy said, I'll chuck you a couple extras in just in case. And as luck would have it, they've been out and about ever since I put them in here, and as soon as I sit here with the camera they all disappear. Yeah, that's what shrimp are like though. You could have a tank with 100 shrimp in it and never see them. There's a couple trundling around down the back, but you probably can't see them from this angle anyway. And rather than risk my dodgy camera work to try and find one, we'll leave it as is because we all know what a cherry shrimp looks like. Oh, we got one down the front, just about. Might be coming into shot anytime soon. Or is it? It's on the bottom, so you can't see it. I'll risk a lift up of the camera to see if we can actually, just to prove that there is a cherry shrimp in there. Can we see him? Oh no, there's one on the sponge now, so that's okay. There we are. So one of them's decided to. A couple of them have decided to show themselves. Now I've got a funny feeling I may have got the bags, well, not mixed up, but I may have had one end up in the wrong tank, because I think one of them looks more like a Bloody Mary than a cherry shrimp. So time comes I'll try and net that one out and put it into Mary's tank. It's a lot deeper red than the cherries, so, but yeah, we'll see. If it's happy enough in there, I may well just leave it. So what was I going to say? Yes, once the baby platies have gone and the guppies have gone over to the Roma again, and then this will be scaped, set up, sorted. Most likely as a shrimp tank, as I've said. It would be nice to have a couple of happy colonies of shrimp that keep reproducing and all that good stuff. However, I might need then another grow out tank, because as you may know, my pistogrammas started breeding, and well, I thought I'd lost all the fry because I didn't have any breeder tank or anything like that ready. Now I do, so the next time they breed I'll be able to, once the fry are free swimming, I'll pop a bunch into a little breeder tank that I've got, breeder box, and hopefully grow them on in there. But I have seen there are at least 2, which I'm calling Alberts, that have got big enough to be non-munchable by Dorian, so fingers crossed they'll be happy, and then when I get the next lot of fry I can pop them in the breeder box till they get big enough to go back into the tank without getting eaten. And yeah, you can see there's a couple of shrimp out now. The platies, just nothing bothers them. If I put my hand in there, they swim into my hand. They're basically totally tame, and I think one of the older females might actually be pregnant. Hey ho, such is the way of life with platies. While I'm here, how long are we going? No, not quite 10 minutes yet. Because obviously there are some very small creatures in here, I didn't want to use my normal gravel vac. Excuse me, bashing the camera stand. So, as part of Operation Save the Apistogrammas, as it were, I went out and I got a turkey baster to basically purely to suck up the fry. What I've also found it useful for, because this is a bare bottom tank at the moment, is very useful for spot cleaning and picking up the poop without, as I say, using a gravel vac, which, as we all know, if you've got small fry, cherry shrimp, that kind of stuff, if you use a gravel vac, chances of you sucking them up, totally accidentally, you only got to take your eye off the ball for a second and one will go up there. And I'm fortunate enough that the cat does sit and watch the bucket for me while I'm changing water in the tank, cleaning them out. He sits there and watches the bucket, and if he sees a baby fish in there, he starts meowing at me to warn me that there's a baby fish gone in there. So he's probably saved about 3 or 4 of these guppies, a couple of the plays, so they're his little buddies and he looks after them. But yeah, so I've been using that, and also drag it over because it's just about grabbable. I use one of the Denarel, however it's pronounced. I hear it so many different times. I'd be more guessing towards Denerla or Denerl. I use one of their gravel vacs it's a nano gravel vac. Let's see if I can get it in shot, at least somewhat. There we go. Just similar kind of thing, squishy pumpy bit on the top to get the vacuum or pot siphon started, and it sucks it up. What I did on the end, it's very Heath Robinson and a bit of a bodge job, is I had an old frying pan spatter guard that had split, so I cut a piece of that off, of the mesh out, and just bent it around the end of the tube and used an elastic band to hold it on. Water still sucks up it perfectly fine, but baby fish don't. So little kind of hack or whatever you want to call it there. A couple of things that might be obvious, everyone might know, or they might not. If it saves a couple of baby fish, it saves a couple of baby fish, and it's all good to me. So if you've got any questions about this or any of my other tanks, feel free to ask, stick them in the questions below. If you're just going to say there's too many fish in that tank, whichever tank it is, or it's overstocked, it's this, it's that, if you're just going to be negative, not interested. If you've got some good advice, I'll quite happily take it on board. But as you can probably see, all the fish in here are happy and healthy. So, So, what else was there? Yes, the usual hit like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Leave us a comment. Say anything you want to know. Inside leg, whatever it is. But yeah, enjoy your fish keeping. I'll try and get my hand in shot to do the thumbs up. Enjoy your fish keeping. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.